Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Legacy Builders series. This is our debut show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want you to begin to share with your followers as you come on into the broadcast. For those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, welcome to the broadcast. If you are new to finding out about Legacy Builders series, we are on Mondays and Wednesdays throughout the month of July and August, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just look for the reminder links, just look for the flyers. We have some great panelists that's going to be on with us on every Monday and Wednesday night. So begin to share. If you are one that is trying to build legacy, if you are a dreamer, or if you are someone that has vision, goals, you want to accomplish something in life, this is the show for you. What we're going to be doing is interviewing people that are building legacy in whatever capacity that is around the world. These people have gifts and expertise and talents and accomplishments that they want to share their story so they can empower you on how to build legacy. Before I introduce our guests on tonight, I want to give you an inspirational thought. We know we're dealing with a pandemic. We know we're dealing with, quote unquote, a famine in the land, and there's so much chaos going on and things of that sort. But I want you to be encouraged to go ahead and start to pursue after your dreams and goals. Right now, the world is kind of turned over on its head right now, and there's a lot of favor and accessibility for us to be able to accomplish some things that we never could have done. So what is that? What does that look like? What does legacy look like for us, of those as our legacy builders? Us as legacy builders is our intent is to make a mark or to impart into someone's life in whatever capability that is, or to just use our creative abilities, our talents. And so I want you to think on your gifts and talents that you have, the things that you have that can bring you wealth, that can bring you, that can open up doors for you, that can expand your career, that can increase your education. I want you to think on those things, and I want you to begin to pursue after those things. There's nothing too hard that you can't accomplish. Wherever there's a no, I guarantee you there's someone that will say yes. So I want you to just be encouraged to go after being a legacy builder. You want to leave an inheritance for your children's children. You want to leave a mark on the earth. So when you leave here, there is something tangible about you that remains. So as we get ready to get started on tonight, I want to introduce our special guest. This special guest is going to be with us tonight. It's actually with us on their wedding anniversary. And so as you guys come on into the room, I want you guys to share your happy anniversaries to them. Put your messages on the message board. We want to be able to see your comments. We want to be able to see your questions. We want you to interact with us throughout this Legacy Builder series, and we want to be able to hear what it is that you have to say. So let's go ahead and introduce our guests. Stay tuned.
Legacy Builders, Doctors Richard and Legacy Builders, Doctors Richard and Nepetina Serrano, CEO and President of the Marriage CEOs, the Relationship Experts. along with Covenant Marriages Incorporated and Your Marriage Matters TV show, airing on Dominion TV Network. Stay tuned as we experience the journey of how this power couple built their legacy.
Good evening, my favorite marriage couples in the world.
Hello. Yes.
I am wonderful. Thank you guys for coming in on with us. First and foremost, again, happy anniversary. Tell us how many years of marriage you guys have been in bliss and in love.
3 and 1. 31 years.
31 years.
Wow. Y'all too young to be married 31 years.
31 years.
Yeah.
Well, happy anniversary, and thank you all again for coming on the broadcast tonight on your anniversary. You guys look radiant and beautiful, and I pray you many more years of happiness in marriage. With that being said, I know you guys are celebrating your anniversary, so I kind of want to touch on that a little bit before we start getting started on how you all built and created legacy, because this is the start of your story. This is the start on how you all built legacy and came together. So tell us where you all individually are from, and then tell us how you all met. Give us the love story.
Wow. We are, I am originally from Philadelphia. I'm a native of Philadelphia. Born and raised here all my life, although most people don't believe that. When they meet me, they're like, "You're not from Philadelphia." Yes, I am. I was born in Philadelphia, raised in Philadelphia, as was my amazing husband.
Well, I was, of course, I grew up here in Philadelphia. My mother and father is Hispanic, so my family is from Puerto Rico, and I am Hispanic 100%. Puertorriqueño. I know. So, but yeah, here in Philadelphia all my life, and I met my wife here in Philadelphia.
Amazing. So how did you guys meet? Say that again.
Not in my neighborhood either.
Oh, wow.
He crossed on the other side.
That's right.
Oh, he crossed on over to the other side to meet the beauty he has in your wife.
He found me, honey. He found me. You know, interestingly enough, my husband found me on a day that I prayed. Literally, I was working for a pizzeria, and I went into the bathroom, and I was feeling a little sad that day. And I remember going in there, and I remember praying and asking God to send me someone that I can be with for longevity, right? I didn't just want to be dating here and there constantly. I wanted to kind of settle down because I was a chill girl. So, you know, I asked God, and I went in, and I never forget it. You know, the guys at the pizza was like, "What's up, Queen? What's wrong? You okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine," you know. But I had prayed a prayer that day, and on that same day, the Lord brought my husband to me. So listen, I have a lot to be thankful for today.
Indeed. Look, I need some of that glory to fall on me so I can find my wife. Indeed. But I think that's why God connected me to some marriage CEOs. I love it. So that's amazing. I know that you all are have a marketing and branding as the marriage CEOs, which carries weight in itself as a title. And so how prior to you all coming up with this concept, were you all kind of pursuing purpose and destiny individually before you came together, and then how did that come together, and how did you guys begin to work together?
Well, I guess I can say, going back to the story of how we met, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing.
Wow.
So when I met my wife, at the time, I needed a change in my life, because so when I met my wife, she didn't do drugs or anything. So although she prayed for a husband, I prayed for change.
Wow.
In my life, and my wife was always she was saved at a young age. So I wasn't saved at the time. And when I met her, I was hanging out with my two cousins in the car, and I was only allowed to speak Spanish because I made a bet with my cousin to speak Spanish that day. So what is the chances of that happening? And then I met her, and I continued to speak Spanish, and my cousins translated the whole time. But yet she was still interested, so she was still willing.
Yeah.
And I was still willing because she was different. She was pretty. So it wasn't my norm, and I know that I needed a change in my life. So I said that to say that, you never know when your path will cross. And that's why the opposites attract, and even in the relationship that you're in and things that you're doing, the unfamiliar. You have to still embrace the unfamiliar, because that unfamiliar is going to take you to a place of your destiny and your purpose.
Wow.
Indeed.
Wow.
And I was for me, I wanted to play basketball, professional basketball. That was my goal in life. And I went up to play semi-pro, and I went to Puerto Rico and played semi-pro. So that was my highlight. So I really didn't see anything past that as far as what I wanted to do. Now, my family's are entrepreneurs. My great-grandfather, ceramic families, construction business, and things like that. So that's already in my bloodline. So we already knew that entrepreneurship was in the bloodline. So owning our own business was something that I wanted to do naturally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It's interesting how what was already ingrained in you from the bloodline is now carrying over into your marriage. Now, I do want to ask this. I know it's kind of going to be a left question, but I think this is really essential for those that are building legacy and that are married. Because I've had instances when I've had to counsel people or been there to minister to people that are in marriage or what have you, and this has been something that has come up quite often that causes issues within the marriage. And so my question to you is that when you mentioned that you were not saved and you needed change in your life, but she was saved, did her purpose or her anointing or her call intimidate you? And was that a challenge for you in the beginning? And actually, I was going to ask that opposite, but since you made that clear that you was not saved in the beginning.
Wow.
So later on, when we started dating, we dated for 2 years. I got saved a week after I got married.
Wow.
So getting married in church, I wasn't saved. But a week after I got married, I got saved, and I got saved in a Pentecostal church. All right, y'all. So,
yes.
I came from a Catholic background, so when I got saved, it was different. It was really different. I told the pastor, I said, it's really loud in here, and he said, just keep coming. And sure enough, I kept going, and I became a deacon in the church. And my wife at the time, she was always serving and doing things. I've always looked up to her in a sense because she was saved. She carried herself very professional, very well, and always like a lady, So was I intimidated? I think, yeah, I would say yes, because being married, responsibilities now were, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that. As the man of the house, the Pentecostal church, the man does the man roles. Now we teach who's ever more qualified to do the position does the role, does the position.
That's right.
Because you have to be qualified in order to take your family to the next level. So back then was the man did this and the man did that. Women did the dishes, cooked, and things like that. So at that time, writing bills and things, I had to mature because the responsibilities was coming. Getting married, they were there. So being a deacon in the church and responsibilities in the church, I had to grow up. I had to really start learning about God and the things that he wanted for my life, my purpose. But I didn't still find my purpose until later on.
I mean, I think, if I could just add to that a little bit. Dr. Serrano said he feels like he was intimidated. Well, I'm telling you, he didn't show that intimidation at all. Meeting him, he was very confident. He was always very confident in who he was. If there was fear, it didn't show on his face. He didn't present that to me. He seemed like a very confident person. He was very approachable and just very friendly. And that in itself, the challenge of meeting someone from another culture And I actually had taken Spanish for 3 years at that point. And so I thought, wow, this is a challenge, you know. More so looking for the adventure of it all and the thrill of, you know, just another culture and getting to know him. But it turned out that, you know, he would wind up to be my very best friend. And so it was worth the try.
So,
Indeed.
so fast forwarding, my purpose came with some failures.
Yes.
So when my wife started pursuing evangelism and what it was, other things you had, but she had some in school for her master's or bachelor's degree in business. So I started looking at that and I started saying to myself, wow, what am I going to do now? You know, because now she's getting degrees, she's, you know, elevating in church. So I felt left out. And so I want to address that because we feel left out, and then all of a sudden we want to stop going to church. We want to become an absence from society because now we feeling depressed, we feeling down, and that's a trick of the enemy because he wants you to be isolated from people. Right now, we can't do that because that's not what we were created to do. Right? We continue to build and hope on the word. So when I saw her do that, and I says, wow, so now what sat in my mind was to say, I gotta find me. I want to work for me. I want to do me. You ever heard people say to do me?
Absolutely.
Very dangerous because nothing for things to you when you're really focused on the creator who created you, right? So now you're not asking for God for help, you're going and asking for other people to help. So that was a thought for me because I went left and she continued to go straight on the path. So I found myself at a place where I did some things I shouldn't have done, and I wound up in counseling.
Wow.
So I went to counseling after about the fourth month, I found my purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right there.
Right there in front of the counselor, I looked at my wife and I said, oh my God, I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to bring hope to people, to couples.
Yeah.
I want them to find their purpose like I found my purpose.
Yeah.
And especially the men, because I don't want them to be lost. Because, you know, I never believed when a woman makes more than you're left out, because I've always believed in oneness, and what's for her, what she has is mine, and what I have is hers. So that never feared me at all. But I know a lot of men have that fear. So I said, Lord, I want to be in this place to really, really help people find themselves.
Yes.
You know, to find their purpose in life, to know what they were here and created to do.
That's very important.
Yes.
You know, so that's where the actually our counseling started.
Yeah. Started our ministry, which became, you know, our life.
Yeah.
You know, our walk and who we are became our work and purpose that God has planted us here to be. And it was very evident to us during that period and that time that this is what we were here to do. This is what we were coming into this world. And so, yeah, we were created in His image and His likeness, but made for one another. So,
wow. It is so amazing. For you all that are coming into the broadcast, we are interviewing Doctors Richard and Nepetina Serrano. They are the marriage CEOs. If you came in late, don't worry. You can go back and watch the replay. You're going to get a great treat, especially for those of you who are married or pursuing after marriage. They have a great story to be told. So now we're going to dive into, which actually segues right into my next question, which is asking you about how marriage CEOs came about. It's interesting how when you were in a broken place and you were getting the help and the assistance you need, is when a light bulb clicked on, that purpose is what was being revealed to you. Yes, you were being revealed to yourself as far as the issues and things, and you going through your healing process, but you begin to realize that this is a part of your purpose. So tell us a little bit more about what Marriage CEO is and how that entity came about. Well, you already told us where it came about, but just kind of give us a little bit more detail about how this ministry and business was started.
So you want me to start? So when I found my purpose, of course, it was easier now for both of us to work in that purpose together because my wife was waiting on me, right?
Yes.
As the head of the house, we are there to cultivate, to make better. But without that head, it's harder for the woman to continue on to do what she needs to do.
Yes.
So the man needs to step up and find their purpose in order to run this race and to help people, right? Our trials and tribulations come to make us strong, to build us up. And it's not about us, it's about helping people. That's what the trials and tribulations are all about. When we go through things, it's not to stay silent, but it's to let people know what you've been through. So your testimony can be, our test is also a testimony for others. So Covenant Rescue 911, the 24-hour hotline, I'll start there because the 24-hour hotline, when we started counseling, we ran into a couple where it was kind of worst case scenario. And it was a really tough place.
Really hard place.
And I said, Lord, we didn't want to be in church. We wanted to be with this couple. And we wound up going to church that morning. And I said, Lord, I don't want to be here. Our hearts were really heavy. And I looked up and I was on the third pew in front, and God told me, he said, Covenant Rescue 911. He said, if you can't be with them, dispatch somebody who can.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, what are you saying? And he said it again. He said, if you can't be with them, dispatch somebody who can. And I said, oh my God, I got it. And I started writing down the program for Covenant Rescue 911, which is a 24-hour hotline for married couples and families in crisis. And when we left the church, I showed my wife and she said, where did you get this from? And I said, God,
whoa,
downloaded the whole program for Covenant Rescue 911.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was, only God could do that, right? Because here we are in service, we're leaving service, we're on our way to dinner, and he's like, can you just read this over? And I'm reading it over and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is great. This is awesome. Where'd you get this? He was like, no, God gave this to me while I was sitting in service this morning. And this is the entire program. And, Covenant Marriages and Covenant Rescue 911, the 24-hour hotline for couples and families in crisis, and soon to be a location where couples can come and have a 72-hour overnight stay. So a 3-day stay where they can come and be healed, be delivered, be revived, be renewed, be refilled, right? Because we're called to leaders in ministry, leaders in the workplace, leaders in the community. Those are the people that God has given us as a platform to work with. The ones that are always pouring out and rarely getting poured back into, the ones that are always giving, and then they find themselves depleted. And when it's time to go home and serve their own family, they have nothing left. And so this really is where a lot of the issues come in, right there.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. And the thing that I find interesting, and I want to ask you this, Dr. Nepetina, I want to ask you this, because I know in the beginning process of your marriage, you were the spiritually inclined one. So how did you feel when God gave him the revelation, and now he's starting to take the role as head, because now he's hearing from God and he's getting clarity of the vision on how to build and create legacy?
Wow, how did I feel? I felt, just grateful. I was grateful because I was like, yes, Lord. God had already showed me so many things about my husband and the potential in which he has already in him. So to see that begin to manifest in the natural, it was like, Come on with it. Yes. I believe that
Indeed.
of us as women do want our spouses to lead, right? I mean, even if you're the alpha woman that, you know, that's the driver mentality, and you always got, you know, that multiple personality thing, and you could do 100 things at one time, you still, at the end of the day, we are female. And at the end of the day, we still feel that sense of elation. I don't want to certainly say that it's absolute security, right? But it does give you that sense of security. And it allows you to feel like, wow, now I can be that butterfly. I can just spread my wings and fly and do what God has called me to do, because now he's in position and he's working the work. He's planning the plan, and he's doing what he's here to do. It makes a difference when you recognize your purpose for being. It makes a difference in how you live and how you wake up in the morning and how you function and how you carry out your day. All of that, and knowing who you are and why you were here, it makes a difference. It does.
Absolutely.
And you know, I want to add, because before Covenant Rescue 911 came, the marriage, the marriage corporation was already in existence. So that's what came first after my purpose. Lord spoke to her and gave her the
covenant marriages.
Covenant marriages.
And covenant marriages is basically our platform that we counsel,
Right.
we coach, we mentor. You know, we do our speaking engagements through that platform. Covenant marriages, you know, it was about, you know, it was God saying to us, here's your opportunity to be midwives. So we're like midwives to couples. We walk alongside you in this journey called life, because life can show up hard sometimes. It can be beautiful, but you have those ups and downs. And so with that, he has allowed us to be one that can walk alongside you in this journey and help you to fulfill your purpose to have a successful marriage and oneness within your relationship.
Absolutely.
Wow, this is amazing. I hope you guys that are listening in is getting a lot of wisdom nuggets. As I told you previously, get your pens and papers and take some notes, because these people that are coming on, that are sharing their stories, are giving you valuable wisdom, for one, that they charge for. So I want you to just go ahead and just begin to hear their story and begin to take this in and hear all of the things that they're sharing and that they're bringing to the table. Now, as far as you already broken down the different concepts of being the marriage CEOs, and then the other entities that you actually built. Now, how essential is it? Because these are things that you all are talking about doing together. How essential is it for you as a couple to not only build legacy together, but to have things that you are meant to do independently apart from one another? And how do you all support each other in doing so?
So let's talk about our book that we have together, which is called The Marriage Corporation. So with the Marriage Corporation, corporate strategies for fulfilling God's purpose in a covenant marriage. So when God gave me that, now he gave her covenant marriages, gave me covenant rescue, and he came back and gave me the Marriage Corporation, which is the book.
Yeah.
Now, how the book came about was that, because I have no intentions of writing a book, and I told God, but when God spoke to me in my basement, now every man should have a maintenance department. If you have a house, a part, whatever you have, you got to have some tools, you got to have some things to make sure that you can fix stuff in the house, right? So I was in my basement, and my wife was walking up the steps, and I was in my workshop, and she says, the light bulb needs to be changed. And I said, well, put a ticket in. I said, or text me. So that's strange for me to even say that, but the opportunity for God to show me when I said that was just right there.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and God said, this runs the house. And I said, what? He showed me the maintenance department that runs the house just like in corporate. Then he showed me the security department, the cyber department, the culinary department, and he starts showing me different departments in the home.
Yeah.
And I said, this is amazing. So he broke it down to me. So I started writing. And he said, and anything you cannot do, you outsource it. So I'm allergic to grass. So I have somebody who actually cuts the grass for me. Because guess what? If you can't do it, don't mean you don't do it. Someone has to still do that job. So you have to outsource it. Then God showed me that we're entrepreneurs because we have our corporation, which is the Serrano's Corporation, right?
That's right.
I'm the president. She's the vice president of our corporation, the executive vice president. So when God showed me that, I said, wow, now the electric company works for us, the water department works for us, the gas company works for us, and then we have other outsourced like the cable company and things like that. So guess what? You are a corporation
within
at
yourself,
home, within your
yes,
own
you
home.
Are. Yes.
Right.
And he showed me the children as the workers.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
So when he showed me all that, then I started writing, and she says, what are you writing? And I says, well, God showed me some things about the home and the different responsibilities. And then he showed me a resume, a personal resume. And those of you that are listening, write this down, because we believe that it's important to have a personal resume.
Absolutely.
There's positions in your home that's available. You don't need a resume for it. You just need to know what you qualify for.
Yes.
The positions are available for you.
Yeah.
Right? In corporate, you get trained to do certain positions.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
In your home, if you don't have that personal resume to know when the way that you grew up and the responsibilities that you had, that defines what your history is. So what your trades are and things like that. So what is it that you know how to do in the home?
Yeah.
Right. So if you don't know what to do in the home, then you have to go get trained to do that. Like I didn't know how to write checks because my wife. This is a true story. My wife told me to write the checks because you're the man of the house. Now, young in our marriage, I said, "Is that all? Okay." So I wrote. They was bouncing all over the place because no one told me that I had to balance the checkbook.
You have to balance the checkbook.
Write the checks.
Yes.
So guess what? I had to learn how to be the accounting. I'm the accounting department in my home. I'm security, which is a 24-hour department. Maintenance is 24 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. So when this book came about, we was actually on different platforms and we was just speaking about it. And somebody yelled at me on it and said, that's a book. That's a book. And my wife says, well, when we got home, well, that's a book. And I said, honey, everybody's writing books. I am not writing a book.
I was like, oh, it's a book.
Well, I showed her what I have, and she said, yeah, you have enough.
He had enough material to already write the book. And a lot of times sitting on that vision that God has given us, and it's already in us. We already possess it. We just have to step out.
Yes.
Step out and do it, right? That's a part of our growing, our interpersonal skills and maturing into who we're supposed to be. And so as we're talking about legacy and building legacy, we need to understand that your everyday life is a part of your legacy. Understand that. So there's good legacy and there's bad legacy.
Indeed.
What type of legacy are you building upon? Take a moment, reflect upon that, because sometimes that takes us being very clear on who we are and why we are here. Back to what we talked about earlier, right? In order to build that legacy. And sometimes we think that legacy is only attached to material things.
That's right.
Indeed.
Finances.
True.
Legacy is far greater, much more than that. Because who do you want people to remember you as?
Yes.
When you're gone, when you're not here? What do you want them to say about you? Will it only be your family and friends talking about you, or will it go beyond that? Know what it is you're here to do and just do that, because I promise you, God will make sure that you are fulfilled with the very work that he has called your hands to do.
Amen.
And that becomes part of your legacy.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's right.
Indeed. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is what I'm talking about. And we're hearing it firsthand from the marriage CEOs. I believe that they have a very valuable blueprint on how to build your legacy in your family, in your marriage. And charity begins at home and then it spreads abroad. So they are giving you some great wisdom tools. But we're going to pause there for a moment, just to give them a moment to take a sip of water as we have a word from our sponsors. Just take a moment and listen to our message from our sponsor, and then we're going to come right back to the show.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Introducing Legacy Brand Consultants. Identify the brand within. We offer vision planning assistance, strategies for increasing revenue, offer staff vision training, along with senior leader seminars. We conduct business development conferences, church expansion strategies, also business expansion strategies. We offer plans on increasing foot traffic with a rapid rate for success. Phase 1, vision creation. Phase 2, strategic outline. Phase 3, branding strategy. Phase 4, growth strategy. Phase 5, expansion plan. Phase 6, the exit strategy. Schedule your consultation by calling 773-559-138 and Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let us help you identify the brand within.
Thank you guys for staying tuned for that brief announcement with our sponsor. We're getting ready to dive back in. If you guys are just coming on and watching it a little bit late, we are interviewing our special guests, Doctors Richard and Nepetina Serrano. They have been talking some great things. Don't worry if you missed the first half of the show. No worries. The videos will be available on all of our Facebook pages and YouTube, and you can go back and watch those replays. So let's go ahead and dive back in with the Serranos. They are giving you some amazing information. So I mentioned that you all pretty much have a good blueprint on how to develop and build your marriages and build your family through these particular principles. Now, let's kind of get into some reality moments, if you will, because sometimes, when we share a story, we look at all the beauty and all the easy things and all of the gloriousness, but in reality, it's not always going to be that way. There's always going to be moments of challenge. And so with that being said, if you can give us an example of a moment that you feel comfortable with sharing, of a moment of challenge between your marriage, because we know that your life is technically under a microscope because you are the marriage CEOs. And how do you all deal with those type of challenges when you're building legacy together?
Okay, so we got the name the Marriage CEOs first because the Marriage Corporation, the book, was a corporation, right?
Yes.
And so the Lord spoke to my wife. Go ahead.
And basically, it was just, I woke up one morning and it just came to me. My daughter was here from Atlanta. And she's real innovative and creative as well. And her friend who was here was a marketing strategist. And we were talking about rebranding. So when you realize that what God has given you is larger than you, and you're like, okay, Lord, what direction you want us to go? So basically, you can see we can for everything that we do, because all roads lead back to Jesus. I mean, we can't do this on our own. And He is the author and the finisher of everything that we do. So we, talking to him like, okay, well, what do you want us to do? And the Marriage CEO came out, and it was like a light bulb went off. was so received. My daughter, we talked about it. We talked about it with her friend who was a marketing strategist, and she was like, I think that'll be great. Instead of just Dr. Richard and Nepetina Serrano, we can go this route. So sometimes in rebranding yourself, you just have to, allow those creative juices to come, pray on it, let God speak to your heart, tell you what direction to go. With the Marriage Corporation, people, we were CEOs always anyway, because we had a business, a trophy and awards business for over 20 years. And we are here to leaders, the entrepreneurial couple, entrepreneur youth. We work with our youth CEOs, our youthpreneurs and our mompreneurs. And so it just became, evident that marriage CEOs fit right in with everything that we were doing already. And we just kind of began to utilize it and went forth with it, and God just cultivated that thing and made it grow into what it is today.
So I just wanted to make sure it says that, because those are the different steps that God has given us to put us where we are now. So now we're reality.
Yes.
Puerto Rican and a sister.
Come on, Ace Atlanta song, yes. Combination. Listen, I mean, we don't know, nothing is perfect.
That's right.
Right? And so therefore we do go through trials and tribulations. We do see our moments of ups and downs. And in tragedy and triumph, we have that roller coaster ride sometimes. It happens. It's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. And guess what? The excellence. Absolutely what I wanted to say. Part of that journey builds character in you. So you even learn, as you grow together, you begin to finish each other's sentences. But it is, and being transparent and just simply saying, we saw life struggles. We know what it is to lose, to not have, but we also know what it is to build from the ground up, right? And then to lose again. So my husband and I mean, we've lost houses, cars, we've lost those things that you gain in life through your work, through your hard work and effort. But we also know what it is to lose those things. We literally know what it is to sleep with the dogs and, on the floor, so that you can allow, the one that God has entrusted you to care for to sleep on a bed. We know what that looks like. We know what that feels like. We know what that smells like. And it ain't pretty, people. But we're here to tell you that the same God that allows you to go through that in your journey is the same one that will pick you up and turn you around. He is the same one that will establish you and that will make sure that no matter what goes on in your life, you'll know that you are not alone and that He hasn't forsaken you, that He's right there to go through this journey with you. As a matter of fact, He said, I'm leading you, I'm guiding you, I'm preparing the way for you. So if you keep your eyes on me, if you don't look to the left or the right, I will lead you into that place, right? And it's still a journey. You still gonna go through some things, but when you go through, it won't be without hope. It won't be feeling like you don't know which way to turn. You'll know that if I look up, my help will bring down. If I hold on to the unchanging hand that He extends to us, then I know that where He lead me, I'll follow. And where I follow, it's going to be the right to go.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We come from different places, different backgrounds.
Yes.
So we have to remember that when we're in a relationship, our relationship was built on friendship. So we built friendship. We talked a lot. We went out to dinners and we both paid and we treated each other and that was our foundation. So we trust each other on a lot of different levels.
Yes.
Early on.
Yes.
So we made a deposit early You know, I always say, listen, make the deposit, put time in.
Yes.
Because when you're going through
Yes.
something, you have something to take back out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've been putting nothing in, then you
Yeah,
don't have
nothing to
anything to
take
take out. You know, you really don't. Listen, when you say I do, you have full benefits.
From the moment.
From the moment you say I do. We just don't know what kind of benefits we have.
Yes.
You know, unconditional love is a benefit because God says you are to love one another. It was a commandment that he told us to do. And he gave us and said, love one another.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The world is conditional love. We don't have conditional love. We have unconditional love. Do we come short? Heck yeah. We're all the time. We're not, I mean, listen, we're trying to do our best, but we learn each other and we take care of one another.
Yeah.
Right? I cover her, she covers me, and God covers us both.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen. But our job is to make sure that we cover each other. Listen, I've been opening doors for my wife for 33 years.
Yes, he has.
Wow. Indeed, you got a good man.
And I, you know, and I still do it. I wash your cars and all that because, you know, I just feel that if you don't take care of what you have, listen, I've had plenty of old cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I cleaned them. I put rims on them, or I put hubcaps on them. I took care of them. And listen, you take care of them, they're going to look just as good.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Just as good. So if you take care of your wife, take care of your spouse.
Yes.
You don't have to go nowhere else. You don't have to look on the other side. The grass is not greener. The only way it's greener on the other side if you're not watering your grass. If you're not putting no ingredients,
absolutely,
your grass.
Yes.
Right?
Indeed.
That's the only way. Because that grass on that side can look just as bad. And you to inherit somebody else's problems, right?
That's right.
No, you take care of each other, bless each other, and work through those difficult times and situations. You know, being different cultures, we had that at the beginning was, you know, I was kind of quiet. My wife's family was loud. Okay, so alone can really bump heads at home, right?
Right.
So you really learn to really work through that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's who we are.
Yeah.
It's who we are. That's how we were raised, but doesn't mean we have to stay that way.
Right. And so, as you know, with that being said, and building legacy, right? We're leaving part of who we are here. We're in and not just here, right? But we're imparting that into others through the life that we live, through the work that we do. And that work starts from your home, into your community, into your state and abroad, right? Into your church home, of course. But we must make sure that we are taking care of the essentials at home.
Yes.
Because a lot of times as leaders and as those that are leading both behind the pulpit as well as in the corporate building, in the brick and mortar, all right? We can get so caught up in that we lose out on knowing who our family is right here. So if we want to leave legacy, let it be that they took care of home, right?
Yes.
That they were community involved, that they knew their neighbors by name, that they went to the nursing homes, that they fed the hungry, that they knew how to serve first and foremost. Let that be the legacy that you leave. Yes. Because the money, the dollars can buy us things, but just like I said, you can buy those things and you don't even have to worry about losing it. Nature can happen, right? Storms can come and you can lose that in just in a blink of an eye. Here today, gone today. That goes for things and life. So it behooves us not to pour into one another because we're the community that God wants us to serve each other. And that is very, very important. That's when if you want to ask, you know, what my legacy, I want it to be that. I love people. And I love to do and serve people. But I am learning, and I have had to learn over these 30 years because I didn't always do it right. But I'm
Yeah.
doing better and get it right. Get it right. That we have to serve our home first before we go
Yes.
and stretch ourselves to every. What are your husbands saying about you? What are children saying about you as parents? What
Yeah.
are your parents saying about you as children?
Yes.
Right? Let's leave that legacy. Let's work on that.
Yes.
Legacy.
That's right. That's right. That's good.
This is great, and it's interesting how, and this wasn't, it was planned, but it wasn't planned. It was planned because I wanted to honor you all, bringing you on first because you had me to come on to your legacy, your Rise Up series, and I wanted to have you all be the first to be interviewed. But I find that these are foundational principles that we need to apply to our lives when it comes down to building legacy. You need to charity. Again, I said it earlier. Charity begins at home, and then it spreads abroad. You're being charitable to your business. You're being charitable to your churches. Being charitable to your jobs, but your household is lacking. Your relationship with your family is lacking, and this is really essential to the foundations of building legacy, because whatever that you're doing at home is eventually going to filter over into what you're doing in the workplace or at home. So you can pick the funk, quote unquote, as long as you want to. But the reality of the nature of who you are is always going to shine through. And so these are great principles. Ladies and gentlemen, you definitely want to take these things in, because these are foundational principles to building legacy. And I'm enjoying, if you guys are not enjoying it, hey, I'm a student of their CEOs and their wisdom. Now, with that being said, I know that we're in the midst of a pandemic, and there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, and I know we all are letting our voice being heard in multiple different ways. And we know that with social distancing and all that is going on, what is it that you all are doing to remain relevant in the market when it comes down to your legacy being built? Give us like some strategies that you all are doing.
Well, for us, we've always worked behind the scenes. We've always, went to the hospitals and went to those places where people don't go, where the ministry is, of course, staying at home, but we are still going out and ministering to those that are sick and shut in and things like that. A lot of counseling, the social media now, we have the Zoom, and we have different platforms and conferences where we can actually do our counseling and our mentoring, making a difference, investing in people. We have to invest in people.
That's right.
Because not into the buildings and not into into those things, but the people's lives, once they can transform. Miles Monroe said that the little boy is in the man.
Yeah.
And we are to find that little boy.
Come on.
So that boy can be the man.
Yeah.
That he was created to be. And the same thing for the little girl and the woman.
Yeah.
So our job is to help them to find themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And so that community can be saved, that community can be changed and transformed.
Yes.
Because if that one person can make a difference, my God, that community will be better for it.
Yeah. And some of the innovative things that we do, I believe that you need to become innovative. When times like these happen, you need to go into prayer and say, okay, Lord, what is it you want me to do in this season? Because there was a change happened for the world, not just for this country, not just for this, our location, but for the world globally. A change has happened. And so what do we do when that change comes? Well, we have to learn how to lead during that time. And how do we do that? By being creative, by being innovative, finding ways to still accomplish the things that are necessary to be accomplished, and staying within, governmental regulations, staying within, what your beliefs, right? Your belief system and what you believe. We live in this world. And there's a poem I wrote one time for my high school graduation, I was valedictorian. I was able to say this poem, and it was, "We live in a world full of love, hate, and pain. So what do we do when out comes the rain? We search through the walls and the gate. We look for the love to overcome the hate. No pain, no gain is what they say. But when the sun comes out, we know we've made it to another day. We live in a world, yes, we do. But the world doesn't have to live in us, not me or you." So
Wow. Great stuff. I love it. I love it. You know, that is essential right now. Just to have a little bit of a brief spiritual moment, that you have to keep your ear to the heartbeat of God to be able to get clear instruction on how to remain relevant. And I know that we all are, you know, what's going on in the world. Some of us are struggling to have relevancy. And I honestly believe that that most of us that are quote unquote struggling is the ones that's trying to keep repeating what was already done. And so being innovative, as she just mentioned, and as he just mentioned, is going to be essential to your longevity in the midst of this pandemic. So that is amazing wisdom. So guys, take note of that. You know, you know, have a innovative mind to be able to, if you're spiritually inclined, get your ear to God and hear instruction, and that will help you in your process of building legacy. So a few questions before we go, because I know it is you guys' anniversary, and I don't want to be too long, you know. So you can go rub your wife's feet, and you know, and give us some love tonight. Besides the brands that's mentioned, which is Covenant Marriages Inc., the Marriage CEOs brand, tell us some more about what other entities that you guys do, so that people can learn more about what you all do together and independently of each other.
So if you were to go to our website, Marriage CEOs with an S, Marriage CEOs with an S, 360.com, it will take you to our website, and it will take you to all of our social media platforms. Right there at your fingertips, you'll get to see what Doctors Richard and Nepetina is all about. Who is the Marriage CEOs? What do they do, and what do they offer? Well, besides Covenant Rescue and Covenant Marriages, we have Covenant Marriages Institute. Yes, we do. And so you'll be seeing more things coming from that platform. And then we have our magazine, which is forthcoming. Yes, we have been saying it. And speaking of, you know, we are people of excellence. It is here. We got the final write-offs and sign-offs. But the thing about that is, listen, never put the cart before the horse, right? It doesn't matter how long it takes and how long you say it, you continue to speak it until it is so. But this is the thing. Never put something out haphazardly just because you want to put it out or because you spoke it, right? Take your time. Do what you do in excellence. And so we have that. We have the book, The Marriage Corporation, Corporate Strategies for Fulfilling God's Purpose in a Covenant Marriage. You can get that on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can get that off of our website as well. And you can also go to the Marriage CEO. You can go to themarriagecorporation.com. It has its own website, and purchase the book from there. It is an amazing book because it really does yield to the fact that, you know, we are a corporation, and God is the silent partner witnessing everything that we're doing, and he is the one that is leading and guiding us. And with that being said, our upbringing does help define who we are. We cannot get away from that, and so embrace it. And if you don't know, do what we always say, go and check out the man or the woman in the mirror and get clear on that person. Get clear on who that person is and who that person was purposed to be in this world. So yes, we do things individually. My husband has a men's mentoring program that will be coming forth, and mentorship is my world. You know, I believe, you know, I was born to mentor. I believe in mentoring. I believe you should have mentors. You should have coaches. You should have people that are in places doing things in the way that you see yourself doing them, right? So that you can always have someone there to be a buffer for you. So, with that being said, you have anything to add?
Well, I wanted to add Covenant Rescue 911, the 24-hour hotline for married couples and families in crisis. So we do have over 200 churches in the program. We have over 50 certified churches now. So when calls come in, the plan is to send them to the nearest church or program near them.
Yes.
Of course, with the different platform with Zoom and things like that, we do take on new clients. But the goal is to really have a face-to-face with a church or program near them. That's what God spoke to me, and that's what the plan is. But now, because of what we've been experiencing in counseling, where we see where some of our counselees, sometimes we just feel like they're not going to make it until they have a little bit more counseling. So God gave us a 24 to 72-hour overnight stay. So that's where we're in a process of trying to build an overnight stay for couples in crisis, an actual building for them, because they need programs to keep them. Right. But not just that, but they need to learn and be educated on what marriage is all about. Not what people say is about, but what the commitment is all about. So by having an overnight stay, we can counsel them, around the clock, at least 8 hours a day for those 3 days. So it's more of a it's like an emergency room where they come and they get relief, and then we can prepare them and put them in a program so they can become healthy for their long-time healing, and they can be healed. Because a lot of them needs to be healed from brokenness, from depression, from whatever it is that was bothering them or actually came upon them before they got married. A lot of them have baggage that they still carry with them, and it's not their baggage. They need to drop it off and take it where it belongs.
Yes, indeed.
Because a lot of people see the baggage, but they don't see it. So we help them to find themselves, to know that, listen, you're not alone. We're here with you. We're walking this walk, talking this talk with you, and we are an example that you can make it no matter what you go through, because we've been through it all.
We've been through a lot, a whole lot.
We've been through it all.
And I want to say, along with that, I do have a women's ministry, and it's, last year you helped me to birth that out, Ace, yourself, and I'm telling you, what an amazing women's conference for a first conference. It was a 3-day conference, and it was awesome. And it, time of refreshing, revive, renew, and refill. And so we will be doing that again, and we're looking to do it hopefully before the year is out, even if we have to do it virtually, right? Because we still need to be refilled as leaders. We need that time for ourselves. And so that time of refreshing gave me the opportunity to do something that God had planted in my spirit many, many, many years ago, and that was to birth out destiny. So women destined to live, acronym LIV, live in victory, was born. Destiny came. She went full term. She came and she was productive.
I know how that feels.
Baby girl. So I thank God for Women Destined to Live. It will allow me the opportunity to pour back into our youth. That's really a platform for our women leaders, our women leading in ministry, leading in the corporate America, and our young girls that are leading as well. These little princesses that are moguls, honey, and they're doing the thing on their own, and their mamas are helping and supporting them. And I believe in pouring back into them. Some are single parents, some are married, and raising these young ladies to be leaders, to be entrepreneurs and CEOs in their own right. And we got some amazing young ladies out there. And so, this program with Women Destined to Live is to help support our leading women in ministry and in life.
Amen. Wow, amazing. Now, I do want to add this extra insert in there because I know you didn't mention it, but I want to mention it for you and I want you to take it over from there. They have been doing for the last, about a month and a half now, a series called Rise Up, and it is growing exponentially. When I say it is growing by leaps and bounds, I had the opportunity to be on with them as well, and we, they did some show, did the show for a period of time, and then now they're coming on with a new version of the show. So I want you to go ahead and kind of take over from there and tell us more about the Rise Up series.
Wow, Rise Up came during this pandemic season, and it was literally I was awaking out of my rest. And the Lord said, rise up, to fast forward. He said, rise up from the ashes, you rise. And it was during a time when my brother was in the hospital. And this Rise Up series it's no longer just a series. It literally is a movement. And God has done exponentially superseded anything we could have asked, thought, think, dreamed, anything. I am going, rise up together. We win. That was the word from the Lord. Rise up together. We win. And there could not have been a more perfect time. It was like the perfect union to bring that into this world at this time. And it began to, it literally began to shape some of the things and reform some of the things that God has given us to do with Covenant Marriages and Covenant Rescue 911, where we're talking about rising up from your pain, rising up from depression, rising up from abuse. We've talked about single, married, and life after separated and life after divorce. We're hitting on the real hard topics that people just simply don't want to talk about, right? It's too embarrassing. I don't want my business exposed. What's done behind closed doors, stay behind closed doors. Yeah. Time out for that.
Indeed.
Time out. No, we will no longer live in bondage beyond the closed doors, because we don't want people to understand that we suffer and go through hard times and tribulations. Right. Infidelity happens. It is as witchcraft. We need you to understand that it's not just because, it's because something has come in and infiltrated the camp. Yes, and it's called the enemy. Your husband is not the enemy. Your wife is not the enemy. The enemy is the enemy. And we need to be clear on that. And so we're going to rise up from our negative thinking. We're going to rise up from depression. We're going to rise up from molestation and all those things that have had us bound, right? Our history, some of those things that we were born into. We act out in ways sometimes, and it's a great grandparent that we never even knew. And we're like, where did that come from? Ooh, did I do that? Did I do that? Yes, I did that. That came from me. Oh, I need to go back to the threshing floor. I need to go back and revisit the Father, right? And so I love when Dr. Serrano say, we're here to help you to find out who the real you is. Will the real you come forth? Because we've been living behind the mask and behind the closed doors. It's time out for the mask, and it's time out to come out from behind the closed doors. So Rise Up is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. We are excited about what God is birthing out. There is going to be some amazing series that are coming forth from the guests that have attended. I'm telling you, just eyes have not seen, neither ear heard. I know God has got something special for you in mind when He gave me that Rise Up together. We win.
That's right. And Your Marriage Matters is our TV show on Saturday mornings at 10:30. It comes on. So we were not able to get to the studio in North Carolina. Yeah. So this series of Rise Up is awesome because now we're able to really educate people on different, because you know what? Who knew that domestic violence was on a rise because of this pandemic?
I'm telling you.
Which caused depression, which caused a lot of other illnesses in the home. Because think about it. domestic violence, these people who's being violated are not able to go anywhere.
Yeah.
The people who are violating them are not going anywhere either.
Yeah.
So now they're stuck at home. So, but we didn't know that until we started really getting into what God has given us for it.
Yeah.
So the next period is called manipulation.
Rise up.
And rise up from
manipulation.
So that starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Thursday night.
So go ahead and bring that up on the screen for you.
Oh,
there you go.
Yes.
Rise up from manipulation. It is a 4-week, 4-part series. We have experts. We have special guests that are going to be on the panel. And I am telling you, every night there will be a super fierce, fantastic woman of wisdom that will be on the scene. And I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this particular series, Rise Up from Manipulation, because we all have done a little manipulating at some point in our lives. And you have to learn how manipulation really works.
Yeah, that's right. So we do have some topics. What is manipulation? How can we stop manipulation?
Yeah.
One of my favorites is: are you in love? Or are you in manipulation?
Wow.
Wow.
You hear that? Are you in love or are you in manipulation? Well, you're going to find out if you come and join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Dr. Serrano will be the senior host, and I'll be the co-host assistant.
She's going to translate. I'm going to speak in Spanish.
Absolutely. So you guys do not want to miss this amazing series. I had the opportunity to be on with them 3 times. One was just by happenstance, and it was indeed an honor. But I really believe in this Rise Up series. I keep finding myself saying "Rise Up" in conversations. Yes. So, but if you have missed it, definitely go on their page and take a look at the previous episodes that were aired on Facebook. It's also on YouTube as well. Just go on their page and you'll be able to see more details. Also, you can see on the bottom their information constantly in rotation. So you do not want to miss out on these events that these great people of God are doing. Now, I do have one more question that I want to ask you before we end this broadcast. You kind of touched on it, but I want you to answer this question individually, and then I want you to answer it collectively. So let's start. I'm going to start with Dr. Richard Serrano. My question is for both of you together individually is, when it's time for you to leave this earth, what is it that you want the world to remember you by?
Wow, for me, would be that I made a difference in people's lives, that I brought about transformation, and not just told them, but showed them. That I was one that led by example. God showed me one day, he said, leaders are not always seen, but they're always felt.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm one that's being felt and not just seen. Definitely want to continue to, put the legacy into the couples, into marriages, bringing hope to a dead situation, to any situation. We live by faith and not by sight. We have to believe. Counseling is for everyone. No one is exempt from counseling. What we're doing now is counseling. Communication is counseling.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure that when I leave this earth, that I made a difference in every life that I came across and communicated with. That I was the best me that I can be. That I was not no one else. That I was authentic. I was the one who God created, and I carried out the plan that He gave me.
Yes.
Not being anyone else, but just being myself. And I just pray that everyone will see me for who I am and will see God in me. That transformation will come and will make a difference in their life.
Wow. As for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord.
Indeed.
I want to be known that I love the Lord, I serve the Lord, and I served his people with all my might, mind, heart, body, and soul. I want to leave this place empty, knowing that I gave everything that I was supposed to give according to the plan that he laid out for me. What do I want to leave? I want young ladies to know that they are enough. Yes, they are enough. And God loves them more than enough. You don't have to sell yourself short. You don't have to sell yourself slim or skimpy. You can stand on your own and be who you were created to be.
Yes.
You are a full woman, not a half woman. You are full and complete because that's how he created us. You're not waiting on nobody to complete you. Understand that. And so, with that being said, I want to just be known that I loved. I love people, and that's who I am. That I showed love everywhere I went. Because he said, above all these, right? The greatest is love. So I want to be known to have loved, to have lived, to have served, and to have left nothing left undone.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So together, we we win.
Yeah.
And you know, if I could say on a serious note, when you say collectively, what do we want to do? We want to be that living example for couples, right? Whether you've
That's right.
done everything that you desire, God does will to give us the desires of our heart. But there are times in life that we don't receive everything that we wanted. Does that mean you're not going to live a life fulfilled? My husband and I didn't have children together. When I had to come to reality that 40 hit, 45, 47, 49, eventually the big 50.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And, you know, but that's part of my journey.
Yeah.
I can identify with some women out there, with some marriages out there, with some people out there that weren't able to conceive together or through natural birth, right? But it's okay because I'm whole, I'm complete, and I am secure in the God that I serve and in who I am. And so my husband and I, and for you guys out there, you have to have those conversations with each other. So I'm thankful that we were able to work through some of those things that didn't happen for us, but we have birthed out ministry and we have birthed out things that God wanted us to give birth to. And you know, one day I was standing, the Lord speaks to me in the restroom. I don't know about you.
Indeed.
A little TMI, a little TMI.
Hey, me too.
I don't know what it is about that place, but he truly talks to me. And there were 3 things that God had given us for ministry. And one was the one night with the King, sleepover prayer encounter for couples and families. One night with the King. And we do that usually in the 4th quarter. And we moved it actually to the beginning of the year. But it is a 4th quarter thing. Why? Because it's not how you start, but how you finish. And so we encourage our couples to finish strong through prayer and consecration, right? Gain what God has for you in that upcoming new season. And don't look back at what didn't get done. Take it from there and move forward God doesn't, he is not the God of look back, go back, get back, nothing about back that he likes. Don't turn back. He said, look up, look to the hills, because we move forward in Christ. And every round in him gets higher and higher. So I love that about God. But I love that he allowed us to take this journey together. And I wouldn't have wanted to journey this way, this side of heaven, with anyone else but this man right here. I love him with my whole heart. And I appreciate him because God loved me enough to send a gentle, caring man that is secure in who he is. He all man. He loved all women.
You.
This one.
Indeed.
And I'm so thankful to God for him.
So I do want to say, because she mentioned about her not being able to have children, and I've always told her that she's my baby, right?
Oh,
because
honey,
when you take care of somebody, they're your responsibility. A man is supposed to cultivate and take care of the home. So my job was always to do that, right? To take care. And a lot of men, I think, don't understand the way she loves me is because I do. I just don't talk, right? Listen, before I got heated blankets or heated mattress, I warmed up her side of the bed before she got in the bed.
Wow.
Right? Because that's my wife. Right? If I had money, I gave her money because I wanted her to feel the way I felt.
You get a high five for that.
But these are the things we do when you love. We pack each other's lunch. It's not, it's your turn. No. It's whoever's available, whoever's there. And that's how we've always been with each other. But I make sure I wash the cars. I make sure I do those things that, she's not going to do those things. So I make sure I do the things that she doesn't think about doing. She'll think about it before when she get in the car, like, this car's dirty. But I already know ahead of time, so I plan ahead on certain things. But I say that because that if you don't take care of what you have, then don't expect to be loved the way that you should be loved, because you are the example first.
Yeah.
God said, love your wife as God loved the church. Yeah. He died for the church, y'all. What you gonna do for your spouse?
Indeed.
Yeah. And Prophet Ace, I want to say one last thing. It's something that I actually read, and I want to share it.
Are we having shut-ins tonight?
No. This is the last point. But I read something today, and it said the idea of legacy, right, may remind us of death, but it's not about death.
Yes.
Right? Being reminded of death is actually a good thing, because death informs life. It gives you a perspective on what's important. But legacy is really about life and living.
Yes.
So live your life, and that life will be your legacy.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. I love it. Oh my goodness. You guys have made the opening of this show so amazing. I am so grateful for you. I honor you for the legacy that you all have built and building. And just as an encouragement to you, I pray that everything that you put your hands to do will prosper. The buildings that you're trying to acquire, the studios that you're trying to acquire, the staff, everything will come to you because you are givers. You are people that give of yourself. And I believe that if your hand is constantly open because you're giving, it's running over. God is going to constantly fill it, and it's going to keep coming, and it's going to keep pouring out, and coming is going to be pouring out. And I believe that God is going to do that for you. Continue to build legacy. Continue to go after your dreams. There's nothing too hard. Don't allow fear to govern your lives. Don't allow finances or your credit or anything to stop what it is that you're giving, because God has graced you all with great favor, and doors is going to continue to swing open for you because of the glory of God that is upon your life. So I just wanted to bless you with that on your anniversary. Thank you again. Look, they gave us an extra 24 minutes. We was only supposed to be on an hour, but they gave us an extra 24 minutes because they have such a wealth of wisdom and knowledge. I personally support them and push them and back them in every endeavor that they're doing. And so that's why I chose to put up their marketing for their events that's coming up, and just give them space to be able to share, because we have to be supporters one to another. You know, they support me in my business, they support me in this Legacy Builders, and so I have to do the same in return. And so support these people. I'm going to put it back up again. Their information for you to be able to follow is down below on the screen in rotation. Their website addresses, their Facebook pages. Please look into them to if you're a ministry or you do conferences or seminars. Please look into this couple to bring them in. They have a wealth of knowledge beyond just dealing with marriages. They have a wealth of wisdom and knowledge and entrepreneurship, and they have a wealth of wisdom in dealing with young people and training up your children and dealing with families and all of that. I want you to support them, seek after them, look blow up their Facebook pages, and inquire for them for the services that they have, because again, they have given mounds of wisdom nuggets on tonight. And so I appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you so much, Dr. Serranos. Love you guys so much. Before we get out of here, you guys, I have another brief announcement. Before we go, I want to inform you of our upcoming events, the shows that's coming up. We have a guest that's going to be with us on the 6th, which is Nico Gray. He is the owner and founder of Self Heart Enterprises. He's a community activist. He owns a Self Heart water and beverage company, as well as Self Heart apparel, and he's author of children's books. He is a young guy that's doing some amazing things, and I want you to come on and hear his story. Also, we have joining us on July 8th at 7 p.m. we have Mr. Miles J. Kimball. He's the owner of MJK Mortuary and Cremation. He also has a radio show called the Sunday Morning Roll Call on the KXJK network in Forest City, Arkansas. He's also one of my clients. He's also a friend of mine as well. So you do not want to miss this broadcast. Again, thank you guys for coming on, being a part of the show. Being a part of the broadcast. If you missed the broadcast, don't worry. The replay is still available. It is available on Facebook pages as well as on YouTube. So at your leisure, go back, study, listen to the details and the wisdom that the people that's coming on this show, that's building legacy. And remember that there's nothing too hard that you can't accomplish, and just go forth and continue to build legacy. You guys have a great rest of your night.
Thank you for viewing the Legacy Builders series. Tune in July through August, Mondays and/or Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with special guest panelists to appear. Want to be a guest or a sponsor? Send your request via email to legacybuilderstv@gmail.com. Till next time, go forth and build legacy.